If you ever wanted to memorize your poem for an open mic, a feature performance, or to memorize a poem just to have it in your memory bank, you are going to want to try this tip out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my circle. I am Kamari Creative, poet, author, founder of Mama's Kitchen Press, and I'm so excited to share with you this video. Now, this method here, I used it for the very first time back in 2018. I signed up for my very first amateur women's slam. It was called Spoken Word, Voices Heard. And it was my very first slam. I signed up, never slammed before. If you never heard of the word slam, poetry slam, it's when you basically compete with your poetry. You compete against other poets, other writers, other performers, and you just see who wins. There's a panel of judges and they rate you based on your performance, your content, your skill, all of that. So that was my very first time. And a good friend of mine said, hey, you need to try this method out. I use this to try to memorize poems. You need to try this out. This method is, I'll let you know, it's a little old school in that it involves you having a notepad and a pen. You have to go analog with this. So I tried the method that I'm about to show you, and because of this, I was able to memorize 4 poems in a short amount of time, because that was the rule back then. You had to memorize 4 poems for 4 different rounds. Now, typically they said it was like 3 rounds, and there's a 4th in the event there's a tiebreaker. Thank God I didn't have to get to that 4th, because I saved my shaky one for last. But I memorized 4 poems using this method, and so I'm not sharing with you anything that I've never tried myself. I'm not sharing with you anything that has not been tested, proved, all of that. This is a proven method, and in a TikTok video, I'll also share that information in the description box. I talked about how when you write by hand, it is proven by these scientists, psychologists, all these people, that writing by hand enhances your memory, okay? So this is why this method requires you to use your hand, to write by hand. It will help you with your memory. So because of this method, I actually took home the crown. I won that slam. Come on, so I used this method. I memorized 4 poems. I practiced my butt off, all-nighters, and I took home the crown. So you're gonna wanna try this method out. As an example, a few videos back, I posted a video of me reciting my poem called Shelter. So that is what we will be using as an example today. You can go back and watch that video. I'll put a link to that in the description box so you can watch it. It's called Shelter. And imagine we are going to take this line here, the very beginning. I've been trying to make my body a home, take up residence in this space. So what you're going to do now is take your handy dandy notebook and you're going to write from memory. Now you can try to memorize it as best as you can, maybe voice, do some voice memo, playback, whatever, what have you. But you're going to want to start from the beginning. So I'm going to write it now. Now imagine I wrote, I've been trying to make my body a house, right? I'm starting the poem from top to bottom. I will go back and realize that doesn't sound right. So I'll go back and fact check and say, oh, that's not right. I've been trying to make my body a home. So what you'll do is, instead of striking out house and putting home, you start over from the top. You literally start over from the top. Imagine I started from the top and I kept going. I've been trying to make my body a home, take up residence in this space, move up. I'm like, wait, that's not right. the next word is move in. So guess what I have to do? I have to start over. And so ideally, you'll run this poem. It'll take a couple of pages. It will take you a couple of pages, but trust me, it works because writing by hand helps you with your memory. And it also does this cool thing where if you're going to recite it, it's almost like you see your handwriting. It's like it etches the words in your brain. It does that for me, at least. I can't say that for everyone. But this is a great method to try if you're studying for an exam, trying to work out, studying for a poem or a performance you want to try to just recite it. Try this out. You're going to start the poem from top to bottom. Anytime you mess up, you can't strike out that line and just keep going. You start from the top. So imagine getting to the end of a poem and you have one last line and you mess that word up. It's like, I have to start over. But you start over means you are continually reinforcing what you know. And it reminds me of being a kid, and I got in trouble. Not like a whole lot. I was like an average kid who got in trouble. And back in my day, I sound old. I'm not old, but back in my day, we had to write standards. So I would have to write, I will not talk in class anymore. I will not talk in class anymore. I will not talk. Little did they know, or maybe they did know, perhaps that's why we have to write standards, because that's etching it in my brain that I will not talk in class anymore. So whenever I go to talk in class, I'm like, oh wait, nope, don't do that. This method might hurt your hand. You might want to have a little painkiller on the side, some tea or something if you're not used to writing and you're used to typing or texting or whatever it may be. It might cramp up your hand a little bit, but trust me, it's worth it. I've used it. It's a proven method. Let me know what you think in the comments about this. Let me know if you have any more questions, if there's anything I left out or you need more clarity on. I am here to help you. Try this method out. Like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely comment. Would you try this method? Do you have any questions or anything that you need more information on? I will be glad to help. And share this with a friend. Thank you again for being a part of my circle. Bye.